The Wizards haven't shown much here in the first two games against a really good team. I mean, let's be honest, Toronto's a really good team. They got a really strong home court advantage.
As I keep reminding people, they're the 1 seed.
They're the 1 seed. But you know what? If this team has any heart, any desire, any energy, this is the spot right here tonight to take this game and can make this thing interesting. What are your thoughts on how they've played, and what are your thoughts about tonight?
Well, isn't it interesting the question you previously asked me about when did I know going into the pros? It's that blind faith, and that's what the players have to have. They have to say, okay, we're going to get one game at a time. We're back at home. Caps had it the other way around. They lost their first two at home and had to go on the road and get two. So, you just have to have that belief that we prepare for this moment. Great things happen, sometimes after adversity. So hopefully these players are putting these last two games correct, but looking forward to get one game tonight and then Sunday turn around and get another one. But they have to make some improvements. They have to make some changes. They have to get some stops, obviously. I mean, I think their offense has been pretty good, especially if you look at the numbers. But defensively, they just have not been able to get enough stops. And anytime a team shoots 53% against you in the playoffs, mind you, playoffs is supposed to be a lot tougher, more physical, harder to get open shots, harder to knock down shots. So it doesn't bode well when a team is shooting over 50% against you in these first two games.
Yeah, that's what it's just a lot of easy looks. I mean, Toronto was draining threes left and right.
What did they have in the first half? Was it 74?
76,
76, I think it was.
I mean,
they had 44.
In the
they
first
had
quarter,
44 in the first quarter.
Right.
And a lot of them were easy looks. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, DeRozan was doing whatever he wanted. Valanciunas was getting bored. They were getting killed on the board. It just was an ugly night for them.
Let me ask you this, Phil. What changes can Scott do? I know he's talked about it maybe. JP mentioned it, and I think some even alluded to it maybe yesterday in the media, maybe move Mike Scott in there. One of my criticisms of Scott, and we have him on every other week, and I love him, great guy, but he always says he's going to make changes, but then I don't see him. I don't actually see changes. I think it's time to maybe actually change something.
Well, I mean, that's a very tough issue to deal with because do you change paddles in the middle of the stream, and that's where you are. And now maybe what you decide to do is have a shorter leash on some of those bigs, particularly Marcin, who's been struggling.
Right.
And if he starts off the game struggling, go that way. But you got to be very cautious about just making changes and not thinking that you're going to affect maybe if Mike Scott starts, now you don't have him coming off giving you that punch that he's given the first two games. He's used to playing with the second unit. So, those are other things to consider. I'm not saying he's not going to do that, but there are a lot of different considerations to make. And sometimes there are changes that can be made that are a little bit more subtle than just, changing the starting lineup.
Right. Hey, I wanted to ask you your sense, and you're around the team, maybe not as much as you had been in the past when you were covering each and every game, but you know the relationships better than we do. What is going on there between John Wall, Bradley Beal, Marcin Gortat? There seems to be something beyond, a great relationship.
Well, these kind of tense moments can bring out the best and the worst. And I didn't see the video. I saw the picture of where John and Marcin were having, it looked like a conversation. I don't know how heated it was. It could have been just talking about assignments, and Brad was sitting next to him with the towel. So, I don't know exactly what's going on, but obviously, there's some concern there, and the players, I'm sure, have shown that concern. If you win these next two games, then things fall in line a little bit better. You're not thinking about any kind of discourse. You're thinking about, it's being a 3-game series. So I tend to look at the side where things can get better. I don't think they have a bad relationship. It certainly didn't seem that way when I was traveling with the team, last year, over the last few years. But I do know that, when times get a little tense, you get a little frazzled sometimes. I mean, I've had that happen in games and situations with teammates myself. You get frazzled. You almost get into fights at practice, but sometimes that works out for the better, and hopefully they come out with that, type of energy, that type of fight that comes out to start the game tonight.